Falcons improved to 4-2, knocking off the Panthers 38-20. I'm sorry for the lost voice. I was at Neyland Stadium on Saturday, and then this game did not help either. But Atlanta with a dominating win. It was a little bit close at times. The Panthers just wouldn't quite give up or quit, but ultimately, the Falcons over 60 minutes beat them at the line of scrimmage. The Atlanta run game showed that they have one of the most versatile offenses, which is such an exciting thing for Falcons fans and such a scary thing for the other 31 teams in the NFL. Last week on Thursday Night Football, we saw Kirk Cousins torch the Buccaneers for 500 plus yards. Today, we see Allegier and Robinson combine for over 200 yards as a rushing attack. The Falcons offense is showing us that it is a pick your poison approach. You want to try and slow down Kirk through the air? Have at it, because I've got Tyler Allegier, who every single time gets the rock is going off for 8 yards and he is running bodies over. Or I've got Bijan Robinson, who is just lightning through the hole and he can break out a big play at any given moment. This 1-2 punch by Atlanta is somewhat unfair. They have two starting caliber running backs on their team, and if you try and slow them down, have at it, because I've got three more friends that are ready to torch you through the air. Drake London, Darnell Mooney, and Kyle Pitts. Those guys all had big days today. London, 74 yards, 1 touchdown. Kyle Pitts setting up a touchdown run, one of 3 touchdown runs with a 50-plus yard grab, 70 yards altogether for 8. And then I've got freaking Ray McLeod chiming in whenever he sees fit. 3 grabs for 30 yards. And then how about Darnell Mooney? What might be a quiet day for him? This is just what happens when you only have one football and so many mouths to feed. Last week it was Mooney's turn. This week it's Allegier and Robinson's turn. They're just all going to take turns going, you know what? Today might not be my day. Might not be me in the center of the focal point of the offense, but I'm ready to help out whoever day it is to have a monster day. This offense is so exciting and fun to watch. It is the best offense, I'd say, since 2016 MVP Matt Ryan year. I mean, there is just no slowing them down. And the scariest part is they seem to be just getting stronger and better by the week, right? I mean, that was somewhat expected. New quarterback, new head coach, new play caller. Might take a little bit of time to wrinkle out, some of the kinks and whatnot. But as the season goes on, Cousins gets more and more confidence in that back leg of his he's planting. The play caller seems to have a better Zach Robinson, a better feel for his personnel, and right now it is becoming a well-oiled machine. And yeah, you played the Panthers this week, but I'm noticing this offense doesn't really seem to care who they're playing. They are going to find something that works, and they are going to beat you to a pulp with it. By the way, how about just correcting a lot of the issues Atlanta had early on in the year? Bad on third down to open up the season. How about 6 for 12 today, 50%? Not very good at protecting Kirk Cousins. I don't think Cousins got sacked once today. This offense is correcting its mistakes, and it is going to put up stupid numbers this year. The only question that we still have yet to answer is, can the defense just slow down the opponents enough to make sure the offense wins this game? I mean, 423 yards, I'm going to call it 200 yards on the ground. Ignore the kneel downs at the end. 1 fumble, but overall, this was an offensive explosion. And it has become a fun thing to watch on Sundays, something Falcons fans have not been able to say for a long time. So give credit to Raheem Morris and this coaching staff. In year 1 before Halloween, they've got an offense that is kicking ass and taking names. So next up on the show, I want to talk about the defense, because there were some good things that happened towards the end, but overall, it is yet, unfortunately, another Sunday where we need to have a little bit of a tough conversation about that half of the football. But first, I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor today, which is Game Time. If you want to go watch the Falcons play against the Seahawks coming up, visit Game Time right now, because they have Game Time picks, which filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats. so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. I put all that information in the comments and description of today's video. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHAT Sports for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. Also, time we talk about the defense because Chuba Hubbard, which was someone that we highlighted in our preview for this game, I wouldn't say had his way with the Falcons, but for much of the game, kind of had his way. At the end, Atlanta's offense put it away after the A.J. Terrell pick, which, by the way, so excited for him. Gets that monkey off his back. His first interception since 2021. But overall, the Panthers offense, I would say for much of the game, was doing better than I would have liked. Just given where they're at as a team, they were making some of their players look better than I would have hoped. And unfortunately, up until a couple picks at the end, there was still nothing really going on Atlanta's defense to make you excited about for the future. Hubbard, once again, had a monster day, nearly 100 yards, 18 carries. Atlanta's run defense really did not have an answer for him for much of the game. The only reason why Chuba Hubbard started to phase out of the game was Atlanta's offense put up a 15-point lead in the fourth quarter, and then the Panthers had to go strictly pass only to get chunks of yardage. If not, they would have continued to pound the rock, and Hubbard definitely would have gone over 100 yards. So the run defense definitely needs to be worked on this week of practice. Dalton, I thought, played pretty well. At the end, too bad. Well, what the Clark Phillips pick, which, by the way, I wish he scored a pick six there. That's just desperation mode. I'm not going to read too much into that, but excited for Phillips to make a play on the football. But Terrell getting the first takeaway of the game in a much-needed spot. Remember, if you go back to that moment, it's 28-20. Atlanta has an 8-point lead. Carolina might go down the field and tie the game. Ultimately, Terrell pretty much puts the game on ice. The offense finishes it off with a touchdown, and we look back and thank Terrell for removing the Panthers from contention. But there were still a lot of really big plays and good plays Carolina made. The defense, I have a deal with the defense. If they do not allow more than 24 points, we will not be too upset. But unfortunately, they keep flirting with that number, and it is going to cost the Falcons at some point when the offense maybe has a bad day. They need to find a pass rush. And right now, I think the only option they have is to go external. Matthew Judon and company are just not cutting it. We're just not seeing enough pressure on the quarterback. Dalton has way too much time back there. I mean, sure, 2 interceptions don't look good on the box score, but for anyone that watched the game, I think we'd all agree, for much of it, it was Deontay Johnson, Xavier Legette, and Dalton just carving up this Atlanta secondary. And Bates and Simmons are good, but when you kind of beat a defense by 1,000 little cuts over the middle of the field, and short passes too, there's not a whole lot Bates and Simmons can do. So either they want to start dropping those safeties in and potentially give them a big play over the top, or they got to find a pass rush. But right now, this defense definitely has some homework to do, and 20 points to the average Joe might not seem like a bad day, but Carolina was marching down the field with ease for much of the game, and Hubbard, like Allegier and Robinson, was just running all over a lot of Falcons defenders. Sorry about the voice. Just one of those Sundays, 38-20. Hard not to get a little excited during our watch party. So Atlanta improves to 4-2. Looking ahead, well, for starters, for injuries, I don't remember any notable players leaving with an injury. I could be forgetting one right now, but that has been, knock on wood, a good thing for Atlanta. They really have not been hit too hard with the injury bug relative to other teams. But they got the Seahawks coming up next. Then they've got the Bucks. They've got the Cowboys. They got the Saints. They got the Broncos. I mean, look at the next 5 games right there. Seahawks have dropped 3 in a row. They just took care of Tampa Bay last week. The Saints have lost 4 in a row. The Cowboys just got beat to a pulp by the Lions. The Broncos just lost at home to the Chargers. This is a very formidable schedule in a good way for the Falcons coming up. They can really start to rattle off some wins here and hopefully lock down a home playoff game in January. But the final, once again, 38-20. Falcons routed the Panthers, exercised their demons in Carolina over the last 2 years. I appreciate everyone for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, leave a comment, subscribe, like, all that great stuff. It's always good to hear back from our viewers. I'm going to sign off because I'm sure your ears are bleeding at this point from my raspy voice. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Rise up. Atlanta taking care of business on the road.